Tonight, one person is dead and another seriously hurt after a home explosion on the shores of Lake Vermilion. Plus, vaccines for kids could be coming soon as health experts push for approval from regulators. And as you get your costume ready for Halloween, some minority groups are asking you to keep cultures and communities in mind before getting dressed up.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke. Thanks for joining us. A tragic update tonight after a home exploded and caught fire near Lake Vermilion this morning. Tonight, we learned one person inside the home died and another was seriously hurt. 911 calls started coming in around 9:30. People reported a loud boom on the 1700 block of Everett Bay Road in Greenwood Township. First responders found the man who owned the home in the yard with serious injuries. He was flown to a hospital, but we don't know his condition tonight. Later today, authorities found human remains inside the home and determined they belonged to a woman who lived there. Authorities have not identified the victims yet. CBS 3's Quinn Gorham spent the day on scene speaking with authorities and neighbors on that rural road. Quinn, what have you learned?
Well, I was able to actually talk with a couple of homeowners in the area earlier today. If you take a look down the road here, when we arrived, there were emergency response vehicles all the way down this road, almost 4 houses down. So a lot of vehicles here. Now there's only a few remaining in this area. You can take a look down the driveway here. There's one vehicle down there. They're still trying to investigate the cause of the fire, and that's one of many questions we're still trying to answer at this time. What we can tell you is the home was completely leveled, and crews were able to get the fire under control that was caused from the explosion. But we haven't been able to actually make our way down there because it's so heavily wooded and it's private property. So we do have a couple of pictures. Here's some of them now. While we were out here today, we spoke with a neighbor a few properties down who didn't want to share his name, but he told us he felt the explosion and ran to see what happened. He called 911 and said crews were on scene within 15 minutes. He described a thick black plume of smoke over the water, but says crews had it under control within an hour or so. Mark Lato, another homeowner who lives more than a quarter mile down the road, says he could hear the explosion loud and clear from his own property.
I mean, I'm a quarter mile away, and it was so loud in my house shook. And like I said, I thought a tree hit the house, it was so loud.
Now, several fire departments were on scene when we arrived earlier, including Greenwood, Brading Township, Tower, and Vermilion Lake Township. Now, as we mentioned, the explosion is still under investigation. They've sent crews from the St. Louis County Sheriff's Office and the Minnesota State Fire Marshal to come investigate the cause of the explosion this morning. What I can tell you, what we've heard from one of the property owners in the area is this area doesn't have access to natural gas. So a lot of these homes rely on propane for fuel. Now, again, we don't have a definitive cause on the fire, and that'll likely come in the coming days or weeks when that investigation is complete. But for now, those are all the details we have. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, CBS 3's Quinn Gorham reporting live for us from Lake Vermilion tonight. Thank you, Quinn. Twin Metals Minnesota is fighting back against a decision that could put plans for a copper-nickel mine near the Boundary Waters in jeopardy. The company announced today they're appealing the Biden administration's decision to order a mineral withdrawal study. The study would look at any possible impacts mining could pose to the area. Depending on the results, it could lead to a 20-year ban on mining upstream from the Boundary Waters. In a statement tonight, a Twin Metals spokesperson said the company is committed to communities in the area, and they have what they call a viable mining project that will move forward. A big selling point for supporters of Twin Metals' proposal has been the chance at mining copper, nickel, and cobalt in Minnesota. Meanwhile, environmentalists are worried about the impact it could have on nearby lands. No word yet on when the study could begin or how Twin Metals' appeal could impact it. Minnesota leaders are working to boost the state's economy by encouraging entrepreneurs to build what matters. Governor Tim Walz and Deed Commissioner Steve Grove launched the new campaign today. It's a partnership between private businesses, nonprofits, and state government, telling the story of Minnesota's business and innovation successes. According to state data, a business started in Minnesota has a better chance of surviving beyond 5 years than any other state in the nation.
This is truly one of the best places in the country to start a business, and we have the facts to back that up. We have the statistics to back that up, and we know that we've got a history to back that up.
The Build What Matters campaign features an online platform at joinusmn.com. Wall says they're going to try to attract people from around the country and the world, with state leaders soon traveling to the UK and Finland to promote the campaign. Well, back here at home, Peter has a first check of the forecast. Pretty gloomy day out there today.
Yeah, dealing with those rain and clouds. At least we had that sunshine yesterday, but
yes.
Being late October, I guess that we're lucky that it's not snow.
That's very
falling.
true, Peter.
Yeah. Just dealing with rain right now on satellite radar. And you can see most of that rain is still basically to the west of the Twin Ports. But there is more rain coming our way for all of us. Zooming out and taking a look at the statewide perspective, as you can see, all that rain off to our south and west, that's going to gradually fill in through the night tonight as well as the day tomorrow. So you're definitely not going to want to put away your umbrella quite yet, because all of us are looking at a little bit more rain for the day tomorrow as well. Currently for us here in Duluth, we're sitting at 45 degrees with those rain showers falling overhead. And that's your forecast for tonight. Temperatures only falling back into the upper 30s as well as lower 40s with those scattered rain showers and those breezy conditions persisting. And with more rain coming our way for the day tomorrow, we're going to have a nicer weekend ahead. We'll take a closer look at that coming up in just a bit. Kristen?
Thanks, Peter. Young kids could get their COVID shot as early as next week. An FDA advisory panel backed Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11 yesterday. Tonight, CBS3's Kendall Jarbo explains how the state of Minnesota is planning to distribute the doses.
Kristen, while the COVID vaccine still needs approval from the CDC before it can be administered to young kids, the Minnesota Department of Health has already been meeting with community partners to prepare for distribution. In a conference call today, health leaders said around 1,100 providers across the state have registered to give the shot to kids. More than 600 pharmacies and 500 pediatricians are participating. The state also plans to team up with school districts to host vaccine clinics. In a survey, 80% of Minnesota school districts said they are interested in partnering with the state to host those clinics.
I know that many districts are partnering with their local public health departments right now to get ready to vaccinate students ages 5 and older and their families.
State health leaders say their main goal right now is to ensure the vaccine is widely, equitably, and efficiently available to Minnesotans ages 5 to 11 if approved. And if parents are hesitant about the vaccine or have questions, MDH leaders are urging them to talk with their pediatricians about it.
Thanks, Kendall. If approved, young kids would get a third of the dose given to teens and adults. COVID-19 vaccines and boosters aren't the only shots going into arms. Essentia Health says they're seeing similar, if not higher, numbers of patients getting the flu vaccine. Though many people are still hesitant to get the COVID vaccines, health leaders say it's encouraging to see so many people protecting themselves against the flu. David Spurl with Essentia says it's safe and convenient to get your coronavirus and flu shots at the same time. And if you have any concerns, he says you should always talk to your provider.
What we really want to do is just have that opportunity to engage with each patient and each person and really talk through what their hesitancies are and what information we might be able to get them to either help comfort them or help accommodate them or understand, kind of the information that's out there to make the best decision for them and their family.
Essentia offers free COVID and flu shots by appointment or at walk-in clinics. Their facilities are also giving out booster shots to those who are eligible. Looking ahead to Duluth's general election, we are taking a live look at City Hall on this rainy Wednesday. Duluth's general election is less than a week away, and we're hearing from each of the 3 City Council at-large candidates about why they are running. The City Council appointed Therese Tamanik to fill an open at-large seat last year. Now she's running for election and hoping to further apply her involvement in the community. The chaplain by trade wants to continue applying her life experience to the City Council and hopes everyone comes out to vote.
It's not a mayoral election, it's not a gubernatorial election, and so people really need to remember that voting is on or before November 2nd. They can vote here at City Hall. We're going to have extended hours for voting.
We've now heard from all 3 of the at-large candidates. If you missed any of their stories, we have them on our website. A package of anti-abortion bills will soon be headed to Wisconsin's governor. The Republican-controlled state assembly is expected to give their final approval tonight. Democratic Governor Tony Evers is all but certain to veto. Republicans do not have enough votes in the legislature to override the governor's veto. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, with All Hallows Eve just around the corner, you may be doing some last-second costume shopping. What human rights leaders are asking you to keep an eye out for next.
And we're going to be dealing with that rain through tonight as well as the day tomorrow. But after that, much cooler air heading our way. We'll take a closer look at that extended forecast here in just a bit.
Get your news on the go. The CBS 3 mobile app.
Seeing the joy that people feel when they share a meal with family and friends, that's why we do this. The laughter of kids around the table, the thrill of families driving through for a treat, the delight of not having to cook, and instead letting us safely serve you. It all comes back to taking care of each other. And for that, we'll be here with your favorites, and always a smile.
Lakota Ojibwe College really supports your education no matter how long it takes you. It's a very good group of people here to help continue your education.
It's back. Our popular burger, fries, and pie combo returns. Enjoy any of our mouthwatering burgers with fries and any slice of our famous pies for a limited time. And enjoy a sweet treat from our bakery. Dine in or order online at perkinstogo.com.
Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. At Honda, we engineer each vehicle to outthink obstacles, to overcome difficult conditions. We engineer them for drivers who are determined to power through, just like you are. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Passport, Pilot, and CR-V.
Mining. It's a part of Minnesota's history that affects everyone in the Northland still to this day. From environmental issues to economics and so much more. Join me, Kristen Baki, every Tuesday for Eye on Mining, a fair and unbiased report that answers the tough questions surrounding the world of mining.
Eye on Mining with Kristen Baki. Tuesdays at 10 only on Live Local CBS 3. Brought to you by Range Regional Airport. It's always a good day for a car wash at Miller Mall Car Wash. But just to be safe, watch Caitlin's Car Wash Forecast. Weekday mornings on CBS 3 This Morning with meteorologist Caitlin Moffett. Sponsored by Miller Mall Car Wash. Only on Live Local CBS 3.
You do this job long enough, the things we see.
Welcome to the barbecue. The killer who wants an audience, and we're standing on his stage.
We need to talk about why you're really back here at CSI.
If we're going to figure out who's laying Hodges, we have to pick up the pace.
Reputation is big. When you lose it, it's hard to get it back.
New CSI Vegas, tonight 10/9 Central on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
So we know what late October can entail. Normally it can entail snow, and last year at this time we were looking at over a foot of snow that had already fallen, but today we're not dealing with snow, we're just dealing with rain and some rather mild temperatures, just a few degrees shy of average. 44 was today's high, Duluth International. So far for today, picking up just around 0.2 of an inch of rain. Probably pick up a little bit more before the midnight hour, but not a whole lot more. by any stretch of the imagination. Right now, for us here in Duluth, we're looking at 45 degrees as well, with those rain showers falling overhead and that easterly wind still blowing between 15 and 20 miles per hour. We have seen it begin to diminish over the past few hours or so and through the course of the day today. Yesterday, we were dealing with wind gusts up to 20, 25 miles per hour. Right now, most of the Northland just looking at wind gusts generally out of the east, say anywhere between 5 and 15. And as we head through the next 12 hours or so, towards tomorrow morning, we really begin to see those wind gusts diminish even more, back to more to 5 to 10 mile per hour range. Right now, satellite radar shows that most of us are dry, especially from the Twin Ports, points east towards northwest Wisconsin, as well as the Arrowhead region. But then Twin Ports points west, you begin to see a little bit rain shower activity up towards Brainerd, Bemidji, International Falls. And we got a whole lot more rain off to our south and west that's going to become our problem as we head through the rest of the night tonight and into the day tomorrow. So here's how that forecast shapes up. So for the night tonight, good portions of International Falls, Big Fork, Grand Rapids, Aiken, probably looking at a good, steady, decent rain. As we head through the rest of the night, that will gradually kind of wobble its way east a little bit. Probably tomorrow morning, waking up with a little bit of rain falling for us here in the Twin Ports. But you'll notice northwest Wisconsin, as well as the Arrowhead region, still remaining dry. And that's kind of the trend through the day on Thursday. By the time we get to Thursday afternoon and evening, maybe some pop-up scattered showers here and there for them. But they are really kind of missing out on the heaviest of that rain. And finally, we begin to get rid of that rain as we head towards Friday. Following that rain, we have calmer weather, but also much, much cooler weather as we head towards the end of next week or the beginning of next week. But first, how much rain are we talking about? Most of that rain, like I said, centered from the Twin Ports, points west towards Grand Rapids, Aiken, International Falls. They're approaching over an inch there. The rest of us may be up to a quarter of an inch, so much lesser totals. And as I said, after we get rid of the rainy weather, we're dealing with much cooler weather heading our way. This is 850 millibar upper air. So what is happening higher up in the atmosphere? We have a much cooler bout of air heading our way from the north. And we'll notice that when we get to the 7-day forecast. But first, for tonight, we're still rather mild with temperatures in the upper 30s as well as lower 40s. Northwest Wisconsin looking at lower 40s with predominantly mostly cloudy skies over there. Temperatures for tomorrow climb into the upper 40s as well as lower 50s and upper 40s prevailing for most of Minnesota, with rain showers beginning to dwindle through the afternoon and evening hours. You'll notice that we get rid of that rain for the weekend, but then as we head into next week, we are much, much cooler with temperatures only climbing into the upper 30s each day.
All right, thanks, Peter. Halloween is just a few days away, and many of us are putting the final touches on our costumes. But before you slip into your new look, human rights leaders are asking you to think twice about your getup and if it could be the root of trauma for minority communities. CBS3's Abigail Smith shares what you should know before heading out on the town.
Halloween is all about the spooks and the looks, but some are asking people to think twice before showing off your costume. UMD Department Head of American Indian Studies, Jill Dorfler, says many costumes can be cultural appropriation and be highly offensive to minority groups.
We do tend to see cultural appropriation where people are wearing costumes that might be representative of someone else's culture. And so an example of that might be like the Pocahontas costumes that are very popular.
Dorfler and Celisa Hochstetler, University of Wisconsin Superior Assistant Director of the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Department, says minorities seeing these costumes on others is psychologically harmful.
This is another thing that the dominant culture taking advantage of, using some of the significant cultural history or cultural significant meaning to them and use it to gain for their own benefit.
Hochstetler says those costumes can mock, belittle, and demean cultures, like people wearing traditional indigenous headdresses, regalia, or darkening skins with makeup, something Dorfler says is all avoidable. She encourages people to dress up as other things, like animals, food, or fantasy characters, to express yourself in a creative way without using other people's identities.
I think there's lots of ways to be creative and express yourself and your identity rather than using Halloween as a time to appropriate someone else's identity. Use it instead to express yourself.
So before you head out for spooky season, maybe take a second glance at your costume in the mirror.
Their advice is to research more and be more creative in ways that are fun and not potentially offensive. Alexis Bass joins us now for a look at what's going on in sports on this chilly Wednesday.
It is chilly for sure, but Kristen, after the Bulldogs swept the series with the Gophers, they are rewarded with much-needed R&R this week. Plus, the UMD volleyball team stunned number 20 in the country last night and on a roll, winning 5 straight. I will reel in sports next.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
CBS3 Live Cams, brought to you by KohlerChef.com, now featuring the Kohler Express Deal online buying solution. KohlerChef.com, a better way to buy.
With the giving season just around the corner, it's the perfect time to add a new member to your family. That's why several area animal shelters are coming together for the Subaru Love a Pet adoption event at Miller Hill Subaru. November 6th is Catter Day, featuring all-day cat adoptions. Sunday, November 7th is Pup Day, with all-day dog adoptions. There will be holiday pet photos and a free microchip with an item off our wish list. Join us at Miller Hill Subaru for this exciting event.
Yay! Here you go, sweetheart.
It's your first savings account.
A savings account? Imagine the possibilities.
Oh,
no.
But I really wanted a basketball.
You may dribble me.
Imagining a bright future? Let's see how we can help. National Bank of Commerce. We make more possible.
If you're frustrated with buffering, if you're sick of stop and start streaming, if you have spotty Wi-Fi, you need to talk to the Extreme Internet Pros. Switch to Extreme Internet 100 for only $34.99 a month for a year. You don't even need to sign a contract. Get fast speeds up to 100 meg, intelligent whole home Wi-Fi, and 99.9% network reliability. You want great internet at a great price? Call us today at 844-EXTREME2.
The September 16th hail and windstorm did a lot of damage to the roofs of homes in its path. Empire Roofing can perform temporary repairs to get your roof through winter. Call today to find out if your home is in the hail path and have your roof inspected for free by Empire Roofing to see if your roof sustained damage.
Heart attacks and strokes happen, even in the midst of COVID-19, and at least one will occur while you're watching this. Heart attacks and strokes are medical emergencies. If you experience symptoms of a heart attack or stroke, do not delay seeking care. Call 911 immediately. Hospitals are prepared and can safely treat you. Visit cdc.gov/coronavirus to learn more.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
For you to learn something new every evening, we need to write something new. And that's why winning the 2021 Emmy Award for Outstanding Writing makes us smile. The CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell.
Sweeping the 4th-ranked team in the country is a great way to go into a bye week. Or at least that's how UMD head coach Scott Sandelin feels right now. The Bulldogs shut out the Golden Gophers to take over their number 4 ranking in the most recent USCHO poll. They do have some injuries going into the bye. Goaltender Zach Stachel is out with a lower body injury, and forward Luke Lowhite also missed last week's series. They're both week to week, and forward Luke Millimak is expected to miss a significant amount of time.
Well, I think number one, it was a great way to go into the bye week. We've got some guys dinged up, so it's a great way to rest a little bit physically and obviously mentally. But we haven't even got to the gauntlet. Like, I feel like we've played 6 games. It feels like 20 because we've had some really tough opponents.
It's big, those big series, those rivalry series kind of set the tone for the rest of the year. And,
starting off 5-1 so far right now against lots of non-conference teams. I think that's super important. That was one of our goals, their team goals at the start, is put ourselves in a good position here at the start of the year for pairwise. We've gotten some big out of conference wins, and I think that's been good. It's helped morale here, and it's going to be good going into next weekend.
Conference play begins next weekend for UMD at Western Michigan. While victory is sweet, is a whole lot sweeter when revenge is among the mix in a game day recipe. After being swept by Michigan Tech earlier this season, the Bulldogs protected their house, taking down number 20 this time around in a non-conference meeting. Tuesday's game was a 5-set thriller, to say the least. After several lead changes, both sides of the net running a fast-paced offense, putting an immense pressure behind the service line, and taking balls left and right, Bulldog Country simply witnessed a fun volleyball game. Sophomore outside hitter Sienna Selbichka continued to lead the pack, putting up a double-double, 19 kills, 19 digs, while NSIC Defensive Player of the Week Sid Lanou tallied 17 digs. With one assignment won, it is on to the next one.
It was a really high-level Division II volleyball match. I thought both setters had a really good night. Really happy with the tempo that we were running and stressing the other side with tempo to the outside. It opened up some seams for both Sienna and Kate, and yeah, there's no doubt about it. If you compared that to the tempo that the match was played at in early September, very, very different.
We always have the mentality of all 6 players are ready for every point possible, and I think that last night that showed. Everyone was playing defense, everyone was playing offense, and it proved that we can beat the really good teams. I think that if we play the way that we played last night, I think that we can take the rest of the season.
Being more confident from the service line, getting teams more out of system. We're making more defensive plays that we maybe weren't making in the beginning of the year. Really putting up a better presence in the front row, just big blocks, big swings. I think that's just come with time from the season, just getting more confident. As long as we can maintain that effort and energy and just all-around execution coming into tomorrow, that would be just great for us to keep that confidence going.
Dogs are on a 5-game winning streak with a quick turnaround. Their next top 20 guest will be number 14 St. Cloud State. First serve is set for 6 p.m. in Romano Gym. The game will also be on My9 Sports. The Duluth East boys soccer team is underway down at the Class AAA state tournament. They're taking on Moorhead in the quarterfinals. The winner there advances to the semifinals next week at U.S. Bank Stadium. The Cloquet girls soccer team late game in Irondale tonight, taking on St. Francis. We'll have highlights from both of those games tonight at 10. Kristen will be excited to hear from them, and of course to continue to see what happens tomorrow at Romano Gym.
Yeah, best of luck to all the local teams.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Lexus. Tonight on the CBS3 News at 10, as we near the end of October, temperatures are bound to take a major dive, leaving the less fortunate in the elements. Tonight we'll hear from a local warming shelter that hopes to keep folks warm and safe this winter. Well, thank you for joining us. We will see you again tonight at 10 o'clock.
CBS